Hi there, welcome to this different travel information session about our Nepal Poon Hill and Community Project trip, which is taking place from the 2nd to the 13th of November 2024. My name's Jenny, I'm from Different Travel. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the actual trip, what you can expect from the trekking, and also some information about things like food and drink and accommodation along the way. So hopefully that will help you make your mind up if this is a trip that you'd like to sign up to. So before I go into the actual details of the trip itself, I just would like to quickly run through some information about our company health and safety. So your health and safety is our top priority, and we take steps to make sure that you have not only a memorable experience, but a safe one too. And to do this, we constantly monitor and follow the advice of the British Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. They provide advice to British travellers about travel to different destinations. And if there's ever any risk in an area, such as a political instability, a health outbreak, natural disaster, or anything else, then we would never operate a trip to that destination. So if travel restrictions in the UK or Nepal prevented safe travel, what we would do is either postpone your trip and let you book on new dates, or else we would allow you to cancel at no cost. The other thing I need to mention is that at the time of travel, there may be enhanced safety and security measures in airports. You could find that bag drop takes longer than usual, and there may be a requirement to provide a certificate of health or vaccination certificate. But if there's anything like that that crops up along the way, then we'll let you know in good time before departure. So here's a map showing Nepal. You've got Kathmandu on the right-hand side of the screen, which is where you'll be flying into. And this is also where the community project takes place. And then just up to the northwest of Kathmandu, you can see the green circle circling Gandruk. This is the area that you'll be doing your trekking in. So on day one, which is Saturday, the 2nd of November, you'll be flying from London to Kathmandu on an overnight flight. So you'll be arriving on Sunday, November the 3rd. And once you get there, you'll transfer to a hotel, which is about a 45-minute drive. And then you'll settle into the hotel. There might be a little bit of time to do some sightseeing, depending on the flight times. And then in the evening, we'll have a briefing about the days to come, both about the community project and the trek. And then we'll have a welcome dinner at a local restaurant. So the next 2 days, which is Monday and Tuesday, are going to be spent assisting at a local project. The project that we're working with is called Hospice Nepal. They're a non-profit organisation based in Kathmandu, and they offer services and support to terminally ill patients and their families. The project was set up by a team of local doctors in the year 2000, and since then they've provided free of charge medicines, therapies and support to those in need. So the work that we do there will depend on what's required at the time. So you'll get a little bit more information nearer the departure date. But generally, it's envisaged that it's going to be basic refurbishment, might be repainting rooms, it could be improving kitchens or bathrooms, general tidying up, making things look nice, and providing as nice facilities as possible at the centre. So here's an image of the Hospice Nepal where you're going to be working. And then once you've done your 2 days project work, on Wednesday, we'll be setting off to drive to Pokhara, which is where we will leave for the actual trek itself. It's a really scenic drive, but it's quite slow, and it'll take around about 7 hours to get there with stops along the way. You'll spend the afternoon in Pokhara, which is a lakeside town. As you can see from the slide, it's in a really beautiful setting. So you'll be able to have a little wander by the lakeside, do some souvenir shopping, and just relax, ready for your trek. So you'll be staying overnight at a guest house in Pokhara. And then on Thursday, we will be transferring up to Nepal, where we start our trek. And once we've set off, we'll be following the banks of the Burgundy Kola River as far as Tikadunga, which is at about 1,575 meters. And your big challenge for the day is going to be a steep uphill walk to Aleri, which is where you'll be staying overnight in a tea house. So you'll be trekking for about 10 kilometers this day, and you'll be ascending about just over 500 meters. So on Friday, you'll be going from Ulleri to Goripani, and this is definitely a day of ascent. So we'll be gradually gaining altitude as we walk for about 5 hours uphill. And as part of this, there's going to be around about 3,000 steps. So this is quite a considerable challenge, but it's kind of nice to get it over and done with at the beginning of the trek. We'll reach our overnight tea house in Goripani at a height of 2,800 meters, and we'll be passing through some really stunning rhododendron forests on our way. And then we'll be spending the night overnight in the tea house, which is where you'll have dinner. And then on Saturday, we'll be trekking from Goripani up to Poon Hill and then back down to Tadapani. So we set off really early in the morning and we do an hour-long pre-dawn ascent, which will give us the opportunity to see beautiful views of the Annapuras and Dalgari, which will be glowing in the morning sunlight from Poon Hill. So it's going to be a really early start, but it will be really worthwhile. And then we'll go back down to the tea house and have breakfast there. And then after that, it's going to be mostly a downhill walk through rhododendron and oak forests all the way to Tadapani. And then once you get to Tadapani, you'll have another chance to see views of Annapurna South and Machu Picchu, which is the Fishtail Mountain. So you'll just get some beautiful views all the way down. And we'll be spending our night at Tadapani in a tea house. The trek today is going to be about 11 kilometres. You'll be ascending about 330 metres in the morning, and then we'll be descending about 640 down to Tadapani. On Sunday, we got quite a nice easy walk. It's definitely shorter and it's relatively easy from Tadapani down to Gandruk. So mostly downhill, and you'll be going through mossy forests and deep gorges to the village of Gandruk, which is a really beautiful village. And most of the inhabitants there are Gurkhas. You'll be trekking about 800 kilometers at all, 8 kilometers, and you'll be going down about 700 meters. And then Monday is our final day of trekking. We go from Gandruk down to Birithani, and then from there we transfer by road back to Pokhara. So you'll be trekking about 13 kilometers, and then we'll be driving to Pokhara. And that night in Pokhara will be again back in a hotel or guest house. And then on Tuesday, you'll be driving back to Kathmandu. So again, this is quite a slow drive, but it's a scenic one. And you'll stop for lunch en route and have various stops along the way. And then we'll check into our hotel, and you hopefully have a bit of time to do some exploring. And then tonight we'll go to a local dinner and have a celebration dinner to congratulate ourselves on not only doing the amazing help at the community project, but also accomplishing this fantastic trek. And then on the Wednesday, we'll be flying back to London, but flights haven't been confirmed yet, but it's likely that they'll be in the evening, which means you'll have some time to do some sightseeing in Kathmandu on Wednesday morning and possibly some of the afternoon as well. And then if it's an evening flight, it will be overnight, landing back in London on the Thursday morning. So the climate and conditions in Kathmandu and Nepal in general at that time are likely to be sunny and warm. It could be up as high as 25 degrees Celsius, normally varies from about 15 to 25. You'll have clear mornings and the clouds tend to build up in the afternoon but then disappear at night. There could be rain any time of day, so you're going to need to make sure that you take waterproofs with you to carry with you in your day pack. Nights are colder. It can range from about 5 degrees C down to -5. And so you're going to need to be prepared for all different types of weather conditions and temperatures. However, it's an amazing time of year to trek in Nepal. You tend to get lovely, clear, sunny days. The temperatures quite pleasant to trek in. And as long as you've got technical non-cotton layers and waterproofs, then you'll be prepared for all eventualities. So a little bit about the terrain. The first 2 days you're going to be gaining altitude, so you'll be spending pretty much all of your time going uphill, and that is going to involve quite a lot of steps, as I mentioned. So day 3 you'll be ascending in the morning, and then down again in the afternoon, and then your final 2 days will be descending as well. So it's really important that your training includes hill walking and trekking up and down gradients, because that's a key feature of this particular trek. And there's also a lot of steps. So do make sure that that your legs are really well prepped for doing lots of steps, and that you've incorporated that into your training. Underfoot, you're going to find stony trails. Some of the terrain will be muddy forest floors. There'll be rocky steps. There could be some scree slopes. And in some places, it might be quite dusty as well. So there's going to be a real variety of terrain. And there are some suspension bridges that you do need to cross along the trail, because you'll be following along the river and crossing from side to side. So those will be a little bit like the image on your screen here. That can look quite daunting to some people, and they generally look a lot worse than they are. They are strong and they are safe. But the guides and the different travel tour manager will be there to help you along the way. It can be a little bit daunting, but don't worry, you're not going to be the first person who's experienced a little bit of trepidation going over these bridges. You'll get a lot of support. The guides do it all the time, and hopefully once you've done one, then you'll build your confidence up. So what about the accommodation? Well, you're going to be staying in a 3-star hotel in Kathmandu for 4 nights. That's 3 nights at the beginning while you do the project, and then 1 night at the end before you fly home. And you'll be in a hotel or guest house in Pokhara for 2 nights, again, each end of the trek. And then during the trek itself, you'll have 4 nights staying in tea houses. These are locally owned lodges. They generally comprise of a heated dining and living area, shared bathroom facilities and shared bedrooms. They're comfortable, but they are very simple. And there's some images here which just give you a little bit of an idea of what you can expect. And then again, here some pictures of the dining room and also the bedrooms. So the bedrooms are usually found along a long corridor, and we'll try to keep the group together, but there are other trekkers, so may not always be possible. There's 2 to 4 single beds in one room. Mattresses and pillows are provided, and sometimes blankets, but you are going to need to bring a sleeping bag, and the rooms aren't heated. In the dining rooms, you'll have long wooden benches encircling the rooms, and then a stove generally in the middle of the room, often fueled using animal dung, just to be prepared. The lounges are really cosy and warm in the evenings, so it's a great place for everybody to gather together, to have a chat, to play cards, that kind of thing. And there's often a bar or reception area where you can buy snacks, hot tea, drinks, and things like that. Now, as I've said, the tea houses are basic but comfortable, but the quality does vary from tea house to tea house, so each one will be individual. The bathrooms in the tea houses are usually 2 toilets per tea house, 1 Asian and 1 Western style. As you can imagine, the Western one is the one that gets used most, but generally they are very good facilities. Often they have automatic flushes. Sometimes they're a little bit more basic, with a water container and a bucket that you use to flush. There may be showers available. It's not guaranteed. They would be for a small fee, and they could range anything from a really nice hot power shower to a bucket of tepid water. So expect very little, but anything extra that you get is a bonus on this front. So what about the food and drink? Well, at the tea houses, you're going to have food that is going to be prepared using fresh local produce, but also non-perishable goods that are brought up along the trek. Because of obviously accessibility, you may find that the food can be quite repetitive, but it's always going to be good food, tasty, filling, plenty of carbs to fuel you for the trekking. Water will be from large water cooler style water containers that you can refill both your bottles and your hydration systems for a small amount, about 100 rupees. The reason for this is that they've banned the use of individual plastic bottles for environmental reasons. But the water that you'll be able to get from these coolers is safe to drink. You may also wish to bring some water purification tablets with you if you prefer. There'll be teas and coffees provided, but again, if you've got any specific drink requests, then please feel free to bring your own decaf or herbal teas or whatever. And if you want to bring some snacks, then bring snacks, but bring the ones that you like, because obviously you're going to be carrying them and eating them yourself. In terms of any dietary requirements, if you are vegetarian or vegan, or you've got any allergies or intolerances, then we can accommodate those as long as we know in advance. Please try to let us know at the time of booking. If anything changes between booking and departure, then let us know so that we can update your details and make sure that we can cater for your diet. So what to pack? You're not going to need an awful lot for on the trek, and there is a weight limit of 10 kilograms. You'll need to bring your own water bottles, so that could be hydration packs or litre water bottles, or a combination. You're going to need to bring a sleeping bag, and that's going to need to be one that goes down to -5 degrees comfort rating. In terms of clothes, non-cotton trek clothes are what you need. So your cotton tends to absorb sweat and it can get damp and quite smelly. So what you need are the non-cotton technical items such as nylon, polyester, merino wool, etc. Those will make the sweat be wicked from your body and evaporate, so that your body and your clothes remain nice and dry. And you'll find that you can wear these clothes for several days on the trot without them getting too smelly. So in terms of clothing, even though you're trekking for 5 days, you're actually not going to need that much in terms of clothing. You'll find that most people wear a t-shirt or a shirt and lightweight trekking trousers during the day. You'll need some warm layers and waterproofs in your day pack. And then at night time or on cooler days, you just may need a warm fleece or a down jacket. And waterproof jackets are really good, excuse me, because they're windbreakers as well, so they've got a bit of a dual purpose. So how challenging is this trek? Well, it's graded as moderate to challenging, and that's for a combination of reasons. You're going to be trekking for long days over varying terrain, and there will be days when you're going uphill all day long, so that can be a particular challenge. There's going to be a lot of steps as well. As I've mentioned, 3,000 steps on one day. So all of that can combine to make the actual trekking itself quite challenging. There will be uphills and there's also downhills, which can be quite tough on your knees. So you might want trekking poles. The climate can be changeable, and the basic accommodation can present a challenge for some people. You're going to be walking for about 5 to 8 hours a day. And although the distances aren't huge, obviously there is the altitude to be taken into account. So even if you haven't done an overseas trek before, you will be capable of doing this trek as long as you commit to doing adequate training, i.e. lots of walking, in the lead up to the trip. And it's really important to not underestimate the importance of your training, because the more training you do, the better your body's going to be at, excuse me, at recovering after the day's trek, so that the next day you're ready to go and do it all again. You've got breathtaking views along the way, and that's going to be a real bonus because it will help take your mind off the toughness of some of this trek. But you must take responsibility for coming to Nepal as fit as you can be. So how should you train? Well, the most important thing is to get outside and start walking. And if you're not a regular walker, then start slowly with small distances and gradually build up your mileage as you get more comfortable, and start adding in more challenging terrain until you can comfortably walk for several consecutive days on hilly terrain. It's important to include hill walking in your training so that your body is prepared for this type of trek. And there's other activities that you can do which are going to complement but not replace your hill walking, such as cycling, running, going to the gym, doing boot camps and that kind of thing. It's important to build up your core and leg muscle strength. So exercises such as squats, lunges, push-ups, planks and crunches are going to enhance your training. But you can do these kind of exercises at home, so you don't need to go to the gym for them. You must take your training seriously and arrive as fit as you can be, because that way you'll get the most out of the challenge. So a few things that might have cropped up and are often questions that we're asked. Phone signal. Well, there may be some phone signal while you're trekking, but this isn't guaranteed. However, you'll find that you've got Wi-Fi in hotels and most tea houses for a fee. Remember to switch off your data roaming, because you don't want to be returning home to any unexpected large bills. Travel insurance is essential, and you need to arrange this yourself. Your travel insurance policy must cover trekking at altitude, community work and helicopter rescue. In terms of footwear, you're going to need to wear hiking boots. So trainers and hiking shoes aren't suitable. You do need proper boots for this trip. There's an age limit. There's no age limit, upper age limit at any rate. There's a minimum age limit of 18, but that's 16 to 17 if you have a young person who's accompanied by a parent or guardian. There's no upper age limit. As long as you're fit enough for the trek and it's something that you're capable of doing, then you're very welcome to join us. And if you have a medical condition and you're wondering if you can take part, we'd recommend that you consult with your GP. All medical conditions must be declared, and if necessary, a medical form may need to be signed by your GP just to give you the go-ahead if there's anything that pops up in our medical screening. So you might be wondering if this is the kind of thing that is suitable for you, and who generally does a challenge like this. Well, this picture here shows a group of our trekkers, and it's a great overview of the type of people that come on these kind of trips. We've got people who just fancy a bit of a challenge and think it's something that they would really love to do. There's people who have been kickstarting a healthier lifestyle and think that doing a challenge would be a great way to help them on their way. We have people whose kids have just left home who suddenly find that they've got more time available to do things like this. People celebrating big birthdays or undergoing any other kind of changing lives, like maybe starting a new career. We've had people come on our trips who've never done anything like this in their lives before. And in fact, there's quite a lot of people like that. Some people have gone on luxury holidays and are really pushed out of their comfort zones, but then that is part of the challenge. And other people just think that this would be something that they've never really had the chance to do before. We also get a lot of people who are very dedicated to supporting their charities and will do any type of challenge that their charity offers. So it's a great variety of people, and it's a really nice opportunity to meet a good mix of like-minded people doing something a little bit different. So how much does it cost? Well, you need to pay a £450 registration fee at the time of booking. And then after that, you've got a variety of options. We have the self-funded route, where you then pay your own tour cost balance, which is £2,475. You're welcome to fundraise for any charity of your choice on top of that, but please be aware that you need to keep your fundraising separate from what you're paying for your tour costs. They need to be kept separate because you can't use any of your fundraising to pay for the actual trip. You can take the sponsorship route, where you pay, you fundraise a total of £4,950, and that will include £2,475 tour cost balance and the same amount as a donation to your charity. Or you can take the flexi route, where you pay your own tour cost balance, again £2,475, and you fundraise the same amount for your charity. And all of that needs to be done by about 10 to 12 weeks out, so August 2024. The support that you'll get once you've signed up varies depending on whether you're fundraising for a charity or not. If you're fundraising for a charity, then their team will support you through the challenge with your fundraising, and they will have lots of ideas and recommendations for ways that you can go about raising the money. You'll also be provided with a kit list, a full trip dossier, a training guide, and some discount vouchers. In Nepal, you'll be accompanied by a professional English-speaking local guide and a different travel first aid trained tour manager, and they'll be with you right from the very beginning of the trip. And there'll be a pre-departure meeting, which is likely to be online, for all of the trip participants and the tour manager from different travel. So if you think this looks great and you would love to book, how do you go about it? It's really straightforward. Go to our website, www.different-travel.com, and then you can either go on our trips and look for Asia and find Nepal, or you can go to the link that's shown on the screen here. You'll see a picture like this, and once you click the book now button on the bottom right hand side, you'll be able to fill in all your details and pay your registration fee. So I hope that's been interesting. I hope it might have inspired you to think about booking. If you've got any other questions, please feel free to get in touch with us. My colleagues in the office would be really happy to help you. You can email us info@different-travel.com, or you can give us a call during office hours on 02381 449 447. Thank you very much for listening.